And there we go. And we already have 2 people. Hello, 2 people. Feel free to start chatting. So, if this is your first time here, my name is Shiro. I'm a comic artist. What I usually do on this stream is I talk a little bit about what happened artistically in the past week, if anything happened. I know I didn't have time to draw yesterday, and it was my day off, so I imagine I've had a rough week. And then after that, we move on to drawing my weekly webcomic Bootleg cookie, and my hair is way too long. I am struggling follically. Hi Coco, hi Crazy Cartoon Cat. Hey, the chat showed up right away. This might be a good day. Touch wood. You never know. There's a sale on Clip Studio right now. I don't know if I have my Clip Studio event set up in the chat. Yeah, I'm running ads. I'm broke, okay? I'm running ads. No, I don't. So... And why am I broke? These fuckers right here. But I'm happy to see you guys here, though. There, it's a bit.ly link. Like that, if you decide to buy Clip Studio through that link. I might get a little something. So, like I said, I barely had time to draw anything outside of anything. It was the second week where for Patreon supporters, coincidentally, I got my hair cut yesterday. I am jealous, Crazy Cartoon Cat Girl. Cat Girl. Crazy Cartoon Cat. It's just Crazy Cartoon Cat here. Yeah. Once that it's names that I'm able to pronounce, I'm going to try to make a bloody effort. I'm doing semi-okay, money-wise at the second. Knock on wood. Yes, knock on all the wood. You're seeing right now medical issue. There's nothing dangerous as far as I know. It's just something that you guys might find funny. So I have, this was the second week of me live streaming for Patreon supporters, the making of a Smack page. There are 2 Smack pages left. I'm getting extra $45 back pay monthly until January. Well, at least. It's better than nothing. You might get a sandwich. And there are now 2 pages left to draw for Super Mario Adventures Continued. No Rest from the Wicked, and I will be live streaming those. And after that, Gabe usually gives me a month or 2 vacation. We should go back to the current name. Oh, hi Ronald. I just took a turkey out to thaw for Thanksgiving. Louisiana Thanksgiving, I might add. Yeah, because I'm Canadian. My Thanksgiving was last month. And once I fall into Smack vacation, I will be celebrated for Patreon supporters. I will be live streaming Let's Play of Earthbound Deluxe. It's a hack. It's a good hack, honestly. On casual difficulty, because we would like to get some progress, because I have been playing it on the deluxe difficulty, and do not recommend! Oh my god! So Patreon supporters will get to watch me play a pretty good Earthbound hack to celebrate finishing No Rest from the Wicked. I would believe sometimes next month. In 3 weeks, roughly. It takes me I usually draw a page a week. We only got 2 pages left. There will be announcements, so if people want to see me struggle even on casual mode, I like to drop in some differences whenever I notice them, because of course it's a hack. There's a lot of visual differences, there's some script differences, stuff like that. Why are you so red? Oh my goodness, are you okay? I'm cooking most of the Thanksgiving dinner. May the Lord have mercy on me. Well, at least you're a good cook, so there's at least that. But you're probably like exhausted because you had that year from hell. I'm just having the couple weeks from hell. It's less hell per capita. Now, I have received a mystery package. Originally it was mystery because I couldn't recognize the name on the package. But when I opened it, then it clicked that it was for an activity for that other job that isn't asking me for any work right now. And I figured I'd participate in the activity at least to try and reconnect with the co-workers. Now, I cannot stress how much I am not shitting on that coworker that sent the activity package. I cannot stress how I'm not trying to insult her. I am not. This has nothing to do with her. But it's a creative activity, and this was in the package. I have history with this specific brand of colored pencils. I didn't dare try them because at least they're not Scholar. The minute you see Scholar on a box of anything, do 180 degree and walk away. What do Canadians eat for Thanksgiving? Same goddamn thing. No, really. There's a turkey, there's ham, there's gravy. Anything you guys eat in American Thanksgiving is the same thing in Canadian Thanksgiving. We even have the same orange decorations. I'm going to make turkey and sausage gumbo for family. My mom's cousin lives in Lacombe, which is west of Slidell. Slidell. I forgot. West of there. Participer au vote mondial des couleurs. Le vote est ouvert du 1er juillet au 30 septembre. Well, I missed it by a couple of months, apparently. I will live. But like I said, I did not try them. I do like their, like, normal wax crayons. It's just that I had a pack, not even Scholar, they were called IQ Crayola pencils. And they were Scholar grade, supposedly. And it was like trying to draw with sandpaper that were so dry and gritty. So I'm kind of procrastinating trying these out before the activity. But I'm gonna have to, because if they don't work well, I'm going to use my Prismas, I don't care. I always thought Thanksgiving was a solely American holiday. Our Thanksgiving, the origins of our Thanksgiving is different from yours. That's why it's in a different month and everything. Like, for example, we were way, way, way crueler to the natives. Like, you guys were horrible to the slaves. We were absolute monsters to the natives. And yes, I say we, even if genetically I am native. You wouldn't believe it, but I am. It is a Thanksgiving dinner for 2, so at least the chaos and cleanup will be limited. Oh, there will still be chaos. It's just that it's limited. In this house, there is always chaos. No, a voice chat from... yeah, it's gonna have to wait. Ipso facto, I'm going to scoot this over here. And we are going to the main event. Now that I'm done complaining about these. I do hope they're better than the IQs. I don't think the Crayola IQs exist anymore. And if they do, who the fuck? Doopy-doopy-doo. And... boink. Can't believe that we have a holiday for that. And because similar things happened, like people from Europe came here same way they did to the States, and then the Native Americans helped them during the winter, helped them settle, and then the white people, they decided that in exchange they were going to steal their land, poison them, steal their women, kill their men. And us, in Canada, not happy with that, we stole the children to put them in schools meant to train them to be white. But what actually happened in those schools is a lot of those kids died from abuse. And the government is still hemming and hawing over it. So, should we apologize? Gee, I don't know, maybe? I'm going to be making Russian tea for Thanksgiving this year. Ooh. And I shared the post. And my script. There we go. I was supposed to play D&D last night, and absolutely nobody showed up. Not my co-players, not the DM. I literally waited for an entire hour, and then I went to bed. Like, nobody showed up. No notice, nothing. Hope you can catch it. So yeah, not happy with constantly going to the hospital to visit my aunt, who has a tumor in her head. She's currently at the good hospital right now getting aggressive treatment. On lui souhaite bonne chance. And I had to go to the hospital to get myself buttered like a bread roll. You get it? Russian tea? Russian. See, that's my kind of puns. Residential schools existed in the US too, probably not to the same extent though. They were probably too busy with the other races. Wolf Tracks have to lurk because of house chores, but it's lovely to see you and you're out. Thank you, Wolf Tracks. Wolf Tracks is one of those coworkers I was talking about earlier, and how much I'm not shitting on the activity coming up. Because if I didn't want to do it, I wouldn't have accepted the invite. So it is nice to have lurkers sometimes. I do prefer when people talk to keep me engaged, so I don't zone out and start procrastinating. But at least you're here. I'm not gonna start berating people. Well, you better talk more than that. It's supposed to be entertaining. And not everybody has the same level of entertainment, you know? Some people are more entertained by just watching. Some people are more entertained by participating. Participating does help me, but it's not an obligation. Originally, I was thinking of doing a Junji Ito terrified face. But then I thought, now let's go more obscure, yet more known. Because if Umez Kazuo is known for anything, it's that specific face, because he'll be using it in several panels over and over in all of his manga. And it has been referenced in other media. To a point that sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, I know that face. I'm just gonna furrow my brow a bit more. Because I'm not just terrified, I'm offended. For those who are not too familiar with Umez Kazuo, he did God's Left Hand, Devil's Right Hand, I think it's called in the dub. He did Disappearing Classroom. think he did Chicken George. Well, it's not called Chicken George, it's called 14, but one of the main characters is Chicken George. And the lip and my... I don't have a reference for how he does hands, but I'm pretty sure they're rounded. Why? Because it's funny. Load, load, load. As far as Commodore 64 games are concerned, what are your thoughts on Murder on the Mississippi? None! I never played Murder on the Mississippi. And if anybody must know, I never ever played that game where you get the Sentry Eater. I'm gonna write it all in caps because that's how it was on the paperwork. See, this is an example of how ADHD acts on your memory. I know exactly what game I'm talking about. It's a game everybody knows. Can I say the name? No. Almost every US school child in the 80s and 90s played Oregon Trail. Thank you! What's cute was that I had like the original like main screen in my head. And I was saying, look, it has a wagon. Like, I have a Commodore 64, I love my Commodore 64, I have a lot of games on my Commodore 64, but at the same time, there's like 15 copies of Donkey Kong and 20 of Pac-Man. And about 5 of Impossible Mission. Like, literally the only game my older sister played Oregon Trail. Yeah, Oregon Trail, not something here. I don't know for the rest of Canada, but where I live, not something here. We had La Rose des Vents, as far as educational go, and I'm not sure what it was trying to teach. I know some of it was trying to teach the cardinal directions. But after a while, north, west, east, south, you get it. I think it also had a mini game about fractions. And like it was an educational games, but the graphics were tiny. Like I remember, like you were in a zoo and you were supposed to find a certain animal. And it was like this big on the screen. You were this big. The giraffe was this big. I had better video games at home at that time. Yeah, maybe the hardships of the pioneers, since they were lousy hitchhikers, ate coral and took directions from algae. Oh dear. I'm learning too today. I played a lot of edutainment games made by Mick and Wolfenstein Treaty as a kiddo. SpongeBob reference. Lol. Maybe I missed it. I don't watch that much SpongeBob. Well, it's been a long time since I watched any SpongeBob. But that's on me though, I just don't watch TV. I just don't. Me, it's YouTube or nothing. Speaking of TV and streaming services and all that, Disney has fucking lost the plot, haven't they? I also played it. Clue Finder, Super Solvers, Blaster Pals, Jumpstart. The closest I have to edutainment when I was a kid was La Rose des Vents, an assy game where it was like Hangman, but instead of hanging a man, you would build a car. And sometimes, if you were lucky, instead of just building a car, you were building a police car. That's a longer word. In assy. But I literally have better edutainment games on my Commodore than what they had at school. I have a game where you have a motor, you have it running, and then you have to diagnose what's wrong with it. Depending on the color, on the speed, on if it tells you what color the exhaust is, because you don't see the exhaust, but it does give you that information. And I have another edutainment game about the human body. Sadly, some of the body parts are bugged, so you can't see them and it will crash the game. But like it goes in details on the body parts that works, like the eyes, the nose, the mouth, stuff like that. And then at the end, you have a little quiz to fill in, see if you were paying attention while you were exploring that body. Sorry I'm late. Hello everyone. Hi Bono. It's okay to be late. That's why I record these on YouTube. Like that, if you don't have time to come see. If you still want to see it, there's an archive. But yeah, Disney has freaking lost the plot. Now they want to install an AI generator in Disney Plus so that people can submit their own AI generated content on the platform for the entertainment of others. Just fucking say you want content without having to pay anybody, you cheap billionaire fucks. How about that? Walt Disney himself was not always ethical, but god damn, you do not need a shovel to dig yourselves any deeper. I am starting to have an emotion. So I'm going to stop that right there. If you guys want to continue ranting in the chat, go right ahead, because if I keep ranting, it's not gonna be good for my heart. And the stream is not for kids, but if kids show up, they're going to be scared. Ooh, that's a serious face. Thank you. I am referencing an image from this one. I want to say it's from God's left hand, Devil's right hand. It's given me that vibe. I think this is the scissors that were used in that manga. It's a face that is often referenced in anime and manga. It, like I said earlier when you weren't there, if Ume's Kazuo is known for one thing, it's this face. It's scary. Thank you. Yeah, he does horror manga. This is not the first time I've been told my face is scary, both in real life and as I was drawing myself. There is a bootleg cookie where I draw myself, like, I think her name is Yuki in the Doki Doki Literature Club. Yuki, the tall one with the purple hair. And there's a spot in the game where she goes insane and her mouth and eyes are replaced with realistic ones, and that's what I did. I took a picture of my face, I cut out my own eyes and my own mouth, pasted it on my drawn version, and somebody was like, ugh, and I was like, thank you. As for the people who tells me I have a scary face in real life, I honestly don't really care, because usually they tell me that when I do a scary face on purpose. So, yeah. Like, this is normal Shiro, and then... It always depends with how much sclera I show. I did have one guy on the Tapas that would, like, outright complain that I had a face that could do facial expressions, but he was tripling down. And he had commented before that people didn't like having him around, and after a while I was a little done being called ugly. And I said, you know, dude, maybe people don't like having you around because you insult people with such gusto, you know? What about if you were a nightmare animatronic like FNAF 4? Then I would probably be scary. Have you seen the Wiggles FNAF game? I would look like that. Besides, if you want my opinion, the nightmare animatronics are not scary because they're trying too hard. Any wonders? Sure would be scary if they were tall and could loom. I can loom! If you get on your knees or if I find a stepladder. I can loom. I've been blessed with a rubber face, and some people are not okay with their female presenting content creators to use facial expressions, apparently. I say let female presenting people express other things than, like, compassion. Like, we can be compassionate but not have to have that on our face 24/7. Like, you know that old saying, don't smile too much, you'll get wrinkles? Well, excuse me for having a good time. What if I draw it? What if you draw it? What's gonna happen? Because here's my thing with the Nightmare animatronics. Like, I'm more into horror that is more psychological, horror that drives you insane. But I've also been bullied so much that something that's trying really hard to be intimidating doesn't even faze me anymore. It's the same principle of between the man and the bear. Choosing between the man and the bear. Because man that you would choose the bear over will always say, yeah, the bear's gonna kill you, and we're like, yes, the bear is gonna kill us. That's why it's less scary, we know what's coming. There's a good chance the bear's gonna kill us. But we can see it coming. With a man, you never know what's gonna happen. You could have a nice lunch, or you could wake up dead in a ditch. And these are the men that then turn around, yeah, but I'm a nice guy. If you have to announce it, you're not that nice. I'll be smiling like a Cheshire cat, damn it. Plus I got this chunk sticking out right here, so whenever I smile, like, ugh, I can and will bite you. And when I do, I'm taking a chunk of flesh with it. I mean, sometimes I've had no choice. Like that guy I had to headbutt because he wouldn't keep his goddamn nose to himself. What, because we're at work, you think you can put your nose or your hands on me and I'm not gonna retaliate because I don't want to make a scene? I will make a scene, okay? I am not a trained actor, but I will make a fucking scene, you better believe it. I will take out the little clacker and I will defend myself. And I will make a scene. And I did. What about a wither storm from Minecraft Story Mode? He's huge and kill anything. Well, I bet he does. He's still made out of cubes, though. Kinda hard to take a giant Lego set seriously. I mean, we gotta keep in mind I'm 43 here. And if people say, yeah, but like Dan Avidan is in his 40s too, and He's scared of a lot of video games. Yeah, jump scares. The dude is very, very nervous. He's a nervous person. He's chill when anything else is going on, but in horror games, the dude is very, very nervous, very touchy. But a jump scare is not the same thing as being scared of something. I can be a jump scare just by going bah, you know? And like I said, I've been bullied for my entire childhood, a lot of my teenagehood, some of my adulthood. So after a while, I'm just desensitized and I'm just like, you know what, you want to kill me? Just kill me, okay? Get it over with. I got things to do, and I don't feel like doing them. I'll be right back. I just remembered something. Oh, hi, Lily. And we're gonna turn on the big webcam for this because it's really weird. And it's something I noticed yesterday as I was taking my pressure because I'm old. I'm gonna show the big webcam again. So, this is a Rainbow Dash figure. And if you look at the small cam, you understand why I decided to go for the big cam for this. Now, for those who are not familiar with ponies, Rainbow Dash is blue. Okay? That part, so far, everybody's okay with. She got something on her wing. I should clean that after. So we all agree Rainbow Dash is blue. So I was taking my pressure last night and I happened to look up, like next to my TV. Now these two figures are in the same room. Rainbow Dash is with my other ponies on the top shelf. This figure is next to one of my speakers on my shelf where I keep a TV I haven't turned on in 15 years. But like they're literally in the same environment. They're both in a basement room when there's not a lot of natural light going on and no natural light that could be hitting either of these figures at any point. So someone explain to me how this Rainbow Dash... Hang on. I'm gonna see if I turn this off, if you guys can see. She's pink. Might be a little hard to see on camera, but this Rainbow Dash faded pink. She doesn't have her wings because like she was like in a grab bag at a garage sale. She faded pink. Can anybody explain that to me? It's the first time I see a figure do that. Not being in the presence of any natural light. She didn't fade from the sun because the sun never hit her. And if it would have like faded like just her front here because the rest was behind the speaker. But she faded pink evenly, even here. And for comparison, to give you an idea on how bad she faded, and I have no idea how that happened. Bad dye in the plastic, weird plastic combination. I don't know. Is just weird, dude. What the crap? Yeah, exactly. That was my reaction when I pulled her off of the shelf and took a close look at her. That just not like Dash, right? Like she looks like Pinkie Pie, but a little paler. That's how pink she is. And now Bono said something. Hard question. What is your least favorite Mario character to draw, and who is your favorite to draw? My favorite is Luigi, hands down. I always like to draw Luigi. I love Luigi. No, you can't see it from here. Hang on. I love Luigi. There's my Luigi collection right here with one of my 2 Charles Martinet's autographs. I have a couple more Luigis here. I have more. I have some in my living room. I have some in my bedroom. And my least favorite is Bowser because there's a lot of shit on him. Because he has the studded bracelets and the studded bracelet and the studded collar. And then you have to draw his spikes. So yeah, there's a lot going on with Bowser, and Luigi's the best. I agree. But he does not show up well on the chroma screen. That's why I have to turn on the big webcam for certain things. Some would think my favorite would be Chemical, but no, like, literally, Chemical is a self-insert, but at the same time she's not. Well, first of all, she uses she-they pronouns. I prefer they-them pronouns. And she's supposed to be me, but it was not my idea to put her in. It was Gabe's idea to put a self-insert of me in the comic. And she's a scientist. I can barely do math. I can draw real good, though. And that's another thing I don't understand with neurotypicals. When I say I draw real good, some neurotypicals will think I mean I draw better than you. Sir, I am a specific flavor of selfish that I do not care if I draw better than you or not. If you consider that I draw better than you and you wish for some advice, I will gladly give you some, but I am not in competition with the rest of the world about my art level. My boyfriend sent me a Luigi plushie that I keep on my bed. Aww. Is it a legit one or is it a bootleg one? Because I do have some bootlegs in my collection that bring me great joy with how ridiculous they look. I have not tested the paint for lead, and maybe I should, but like I have a Luigi backpack that's obviously bootleg that one of my exes got me, and when I told him it was bootleg, he got all remorseful, like, I'm so sorry, I'll send you another, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Look at him, he's adorable. because his face is off and he has black buttons instead of gold. Like, you went to the trouble of getting me a Luigi. Don't look a gift Luigi in the mouth, I say. Legit, it came from Target. Ah. Like, if you count only like full body Luigis, my biggest Luigi and my smallest Luigi are both Luigi from the first Mario movie. When I say first, I mean Illumination ones. Because I do not have Luigi from the 1993 movie. That is now a grail. A grail is a piece for your collection that you are questing for, basically. So I am actively looking for a figure of Leguizamo as Luigi from the 1993 live-action Mario movie. I have the Mario. I want the Luigi. Now, if you don't count the full body Luigis, my biggest Luigi is actually a plush stylus with Luigi's head on the top. Back when the video game shop that I used to work at had video games. Like, some people, they don't want bootleg stuff. I like bootleg stuff. It's hilarious. Do you think of the shipping of Luigi and Daisy as sweet, or like the Luigi and Peach relationship from It's a Wonderful New Year comic? It's a Wonderful Life, it was called. But you get points for knowing the time period, the time of the year that the story happens on. I'm not gonna... Like, even I struggle with the title of some of my comics. Like, I've been doing this comic for a couple of years now. So... It's only 9 issues for you guys. Each issue is about, like, one a year. 2 if you're good, you know? And I have 0 opinion on the shipping on Lou Daisy or Lou Peach. I do know I'm sick of hearing about Waluigi and Rosalina. I mean, ship them if you want. But oh my god, did people keep mentioning the ship during the entire time of It's a Wonderful Life. Yes, it is important to quack when saying It's a Wonderful Life. Is that what you call yourself, Bootleg Cookie? I don't call myself Bootleg Cookie. I call myself Shiro. Bootleg Cookie is the name of the comic. Frankenstein is the name of the scientist! No, but the comments on shipping Waluigi and Rosalina got so bad that Gabe drew the sloppy kissing meme with Waluigi and Rosalina, and we posted that like, here you go, here's your shit. What are your thoughts on Thai food? Ronald, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this, okay? I live in a very rural area. You're asking a lot of stuff outside of my jurisdiction. Literally, last time I had Thai food was like 5 years ago in another province. It was a bowl of glass noodles, delicious, by the way. Poor guy, he keeps asking questions, and I'm like, what are your thoughts on? What are your thoughts on? What are your thoughts on? I experienced none of it. So, no thoughts. Just to do it on purpose. Ronald is going to do some research on some art supplies, then he's going to ask me my thoughts on that art supply, and it's going to be the one art supply I never tried. Because that's how bad his luck is. I don't think that a romantic relationship between Waluigi and Rosalina would work. A regular friendship maybe, but not beyond that. And yeah, that's what we showed. A regular friendship. But oh my god, sometimes you have two characters talking together and people will go absolutely nuts. And honestly, you can ship whoever you want with whoever you want. Like, there are a lot of Waluigi shippers since the first movie, because of toxic yaoi. Like when Bowser like ripped half of Luigi's mustache off, basically torturing him, people were like, oh my god, they're so close, they're gonna kiss. And you can't tell me the animators did not know that, because in the trailer for the sequel, Bowser and Luigi are friendly to each other. And the shippers are going nuts. Yeah, I agree. Even though I'll remake this one of Smack panels by figuring out myself by following my heart. But what would you like to suggest I remake? I say follow your heart. I keep saying follow your heart because if I start suggesting stuff, then it's gonna feel like requests. And I would rather you do something on your downtime because you feel like it, not because you feel obligated to do it because I said something, you know? If people ask you about shipping thoughts, just say I don't care, no thoughts. People are weird. Yeah, people are weird and I attract them. You guys should see my my DMs sometimes. Oh, Lord. And if any of you right now is thinking, well, they keep saying they attract weird people, do they think I'm weird? You're still here, aren't you? Like, there's weird, and there's weird I'm calling the cops. Okay? There's a balance. But yeah, to answer your question earlier, Crazy Cartoon Cat. Yes, part of the reason the comic is called Bootleg is because I like bootlegs. Oh, thank you, Annan! Oh my god! Did I forget? No, it was there, wasn't it? No, it was hidden. Because it was buggy last time. Wait, guys, I'm gonna go check something real quick. Oh my god! Oh my goodness! Speaking of weird, I recommend Morgus Presents on your off time. What is that? A show? What is it? A game? And Suikoden 1 and 2 has been financed! So when it's settled, I'll be able to order it, and I'll have something to do during vacation time. Thank you so much, Annan! Thank you so very much! I love Suikoden 1. I barely played Suikoden 2, because 5 minutes into the game, I got hit with a typo and I got disgusted. But I'm hoping in the Switch remake they'll have reworked the script. Like, God bless Ted Woolsey, but oh my god, when he was on the deadline. Thank you so much! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna do some cleanup in my wish list. Been meaning to ask, have you heard of Homestar Runner? Yes, I'm that old. It's a TV show from the 80s. Okay. I recently got a new toy train. Try to take guesses, including your chat. Guess it right, you get a panel remake. No request. Well, I don't watch Thomas the Tank Engine, so I don't know the name of the other trains. I only know of Thomas. I think there might be a George. I know at one time the train master was played by Ringo. I think at one time it was played by George Carlin too, now that I think about it. But, yeah, oh my god, thank you, Annan, thank you, very big thank you. Now here's the thing, I know of Homestar Runner and Strong Bad and stuff like that. I never watched the episodes. You know what I watched in that time period? Foamy the Squirrel. And a little bit of Happy Tree Friends, I think it's called. That was big on Newgrounds at the time. And Pierce Brosnan from 90s James Bond. I'm assuming you mean he was one of the conductors from Thomas the Tank Engine? Shit, I think you're right. Was that in the movie? Dang, you're missing out. I know. But that's on me because... Give me a second, guys. I'm starting to get hot, so I'm taking a layer off. And if Twitch or YouTube is listening, I have another top under this. I am not that type of content creator. Honestly, the most naked I'm ever going to get on camera is if I do this. Oh my god. Subscribe to my Patreon. Subscribe to my only hand. I didn't used to watch Thomas the Tank Engine. You guys know what I was watching? The equivalent of that Theodore Tugboat. That's what I watched. I know Alec Baldwin was a conductor. Now we are going deep into Thomas the Tank Engine lore. We're comparing conductors now. He worked on Thomas the Tank Engine's later seasons. How many conductors have there been now in Thomas? Plus, I think now Thomas is, like the modern series is 3D animated, isn't it? So yeah, Theodore Tugboat, while we wait, was basically Thomas the Tank Engine, but on water. Set in Nova Scotia, I want to say, or New Brunswick, but I think it was Nova Scotia. Either way, it was on water. Pierce narrator, Thomas and the Great Discovery is my favorite Thomas movie. It's talking classic Thomas. Okay, let me ask you a question. What do you think of Choo Choo Charles? I should have some dirty brushes. They went from models to CG models to 2D. The 2D ones, from what I have heard, are awful. Oh, I would guess. How much you want to bet they're trying to sneak some AI in there? I would never really watch I never really watched Thomas the Tank Engine. I watched Bear in the Big Blue House, PB&J Otter, and Stanley. Okay, I'm familiar with Bear in the Big Blue House. The other two, less. I remember watching Under the Umbrella Tree. It was meant to be like a sitcom with puppets, but the creator was forced to add in some educational bits because puppets are for kids. Somebody tell that to Jim Henson. Then again, nobody would say anything to Jim Henson, because unlike Unlike the creator of Under the Umbrella Tree, he was a man. And yeah, that does make me a little salty. Because they did the same thing to Naoko Takeuchi when they made Sailor Moon. She wanted to speak up about certain things, and they shut her down completely. It's 2D animated and it's trash, nothing like Thomas. Is terrifying but cool, as well as Avenue Q. See, I've heard of Avenue Q. Never saw it, but I've heard of it. I've seen some of the puppets. And honestly, that was the whole point with the Muppets with Jim Henson. Like, Sesame Street is for kids, the Muppets is for adults. That's more like it. But to those of us who grew up in the 80s and the first part of the 90s, we all know that adults don't care when stuff is made for adults if they can make a buck. Choo Choo Charles is better than a lot of modern horror games. Speaking of which, the Super Flash Bros from Newgrounds created a horror game called Crow Country. Crow Country. Yeah, I saw a bit of it on YouTube. At least you have gameplay in Choo Choo Charles. Because there's a lot of those horror games and horror movies lately. It's just like, take that one character, serial killer, slasher. That's it. At least Choo Choo Charles has the decency to be an eldritch or horror instead of a slightly mutated guy. And that's another thing. The minute Popeye went into the public domain, they made 3 Popeye movies. And in all 3, he's just a serial killer slash slasher because he's mutated and he got bullied. If all it took to be a slasher is to be ugly and bullied, I would have been a slasher a long time ago. And like, I like, don't quote me on this because I'm not sure, but I think Dark Horse, in their horror stories collection, they do have a horror story with Popeye in it. They never named Popeye because he was not in the public domain yet at that point. But it was actually good. Yes, Popeye would climb onto boats and kill sailors. But the reason why was actually like in universe and interesting. Because like in the original Popeye story, there's the sea hag that's always after Popeye. And oh, my reference is here, dumbass. Popeye in that story is doing her bidding because he eventually died. I don't know if he died of old age or if she finally killed him, but Popeye died and she brought him back as a zombie, an obedient zombie. And so he kills for her, but he's the undead. He's controlled by her. And in the final panel, all he can say at that point is, I am what I am. And he looks sad, like he still has a glimmer of intelligence that he knows he's dead and controlled, you know? I feel it's a better story than just, well, he was ugly and he got bullied, so now he kills people. They actually did a crossover between Popeye and Mars Attacks. And Popeye is on the good side, I would assume. Have you thought about trying animation or no? I do have a couple animations done on my Nintendo DS. It is in my DeviantArt account. But the thing is, animation takes a lot of time. The last thing I animated was an emote of Risa blinking. It's about this big. But that's the thing. If I had more people supporting me on Patreons, I would have, you know, like some passive income, some regular passive income coming in, then I would be able to experiment with stuff like animation and 3D rendering and stuff like that. But I don't have the time because I'm constantly working, trying to make money. Like literally my TeePublic slash Dashery, they're the same base. They're the same store basically. Shop is on sale right now, but if I were you guys, I would wait until tomorrow. Then the sale gets better. And like I have to add more designs, because I keep getting emails, make more designs, more people will notice, make more designs, so I try to make more designs, and if I'm lucky, I might get one sale of a design I made back in like 2015. And I do have commissions open. I have art and Clip Studio tools, a couple less Procreate tools in my shop, stuff like that. Like, I'm trying. I am trying. But that takes a lot of time. And I don't know if you guys heard that, I don't think so. Or have Popeye fight sea monsters sent by the hack. See? Would make things more interesting. than just, okay, that guy you used to really like, well, he kills people now. So let's send him some teenage fodder. It's like, okay, we get it. Like, okay, we're talking slashers that do the slasher thing. A couple of years back, they came up with a fan movie of Jason without naming Jason, of course, and it definitely counted as something more original for him because he was stalking one guy the entire movie, and that I do count that as original. Instead of like going down the list, the drug addict, the slut, the black guy, sadly enough, down to the final virginal girl. They're going to give Betty Boop the same treatment. I know, I read the article, I saw the screenshot. Jesus Christ. Like, you can bloody tell, it's just for the money. It's just to make a quick cheap buck. And at this point, it's insulting. Like Jendi the guy who made Dexter's Lab. He had made a pilot. A Popeye animated movie. That's the kind of shit that you would expect to see when a character falls into the public domain. You know, finally you get to do what you want with a character. But after a while, like, it doesn't feel like you're doing what you want with a character when every character gets a horror movie. It just feels like you want money. Just for the sake of money, and not for the sake of creating more when everything has the same premise. I know it's weird that I'm saying that after saying that I need money, but yeah, I need money to, you know, live. And if you guys want me to try new stuff, I can only do it if I'm financed, sadly enough. At least Little Nemo just got 2 new games for PC and are by different creators. Thank God people don't mention AI. Yeah, I mentioned AI earlier and I stopped right there before I got mad. I blame Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, that's another thing. Personally, I like Five Nights at Freddy's. I have some merch somewhere. Yeah, I'm looking at my little keychain of, if I'm not mistaken, this is a glow-in-the-dark Fredbear, I think. It's either Fredbear or it's Golden Freddy. Crazy Cartoon Cat is probably saying that because of what happened during the development of the first movie. At first, I think it was supposed to be Warner's, and then it was another one, and then they ended up with the Blumhouse, I believe it was. And people were writing scripts for horror movies for the franchise, and Scott Cawthon keep turning them down, and that's when he switched companies and stuff like that constantly. And then what the companies did with the refused scripts, they made their own movies with it. One of the companies made I think they ended up with the name Wally's World, with the Weasel and stuff like that, with Nicolas Cage that doesn't talk the entire movie. And Warner, they did it, but they reused a property that they had, whose name escapes me right now. That originally it was people in suits, but for this movie they made them animatronics. And that probably kickstarted the whole, let's make horror movies with what is supposed to be cute shit for kids. Which actually relates to something I was alluding to earlier in the conversation. Because back in the 80s... Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I just said. Because back in the 80s, they made cartoons and toys for kids out of adult movies. Like, I clearly remember, okay? Because we're all talking about how they made the toys and cartoons out of RoboCop, the Terminator, probably. I know they were toys of the Terminator. I clearly remember when there were ads for stuff on the back of my Archie Digests. On a lot of my 80s Archies, you would flip it over, and there was a whole toy series advertisement for toys from Rambo. Not even First Blood. No, just Rambo. Because Sylvester Stallone as Rambo is cool. Regardless of the themes mentioned and used and talked about in the actual First Blood movie. Because to promoters and to kids, Rambo was just G.I. Joe without a shirt. So yeah, it's not that Crazy Cartoon Cat was shitting on Five Nights at Freddy's. That's not what they were doing. But they do have a point that there's a good chance that Five Nights at Freddy's triggered that with the movie. And like I said, I'm not judging. As a kid, I used to play Mortal Kombat. And my brother had a Genesis. So I would play Mortal Kombat with the blood. But at the same time, it's all marketing. Well, that and I find FNAF overrated. At this point, I agree. But I do like some of the merch. Never played any of them. But I do like some of the merch. Glamrock Freddy there. Girl, call me superstar anytime. As long as you call me. The 80s was a wily place. Oh, the 80s were something. The cartoons, 22 minutes long toy advertisement. If you don't believe me, know for a fact that there was a cartoon series about the Rubik's Cube. Look it up. I'm laughing, but I'm crying on the inside. No, I did not watch it. I may be a dumbass kid at the time, but I still had standards. I mean, I was a fancy-ass kid, okay? I used to watch the anime version of Les Miserables. Yes, that's a real thing, and it was very well animated. Like, there was a lot of cultural / literary anime at the time. I watched the anime version of Alice in Wonderland, Anne of the Green Gables, Heidi, Belle and Sebastian, Les Miserables. More recently, there was like this really, really good quality TV series of Cinderella, but it was like really good. The characters were not just well animated and with some good character designs, but they were also beautifully written. Like, you understand why people like Cinderella. Like, she is precious in the anime. The Moomins. I love the Moomins. Calimero was based on a... Calimero? Yeah, Calimero was based on a book too. I hesitated for a second because there was also an anime called Demetan. Pretty sure that was based on a book. And also, the character design was made by Yoshitaka Amano. I read a manga of that in Pride and Prejudice. One thing I would like to read is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. If I had the time. I'm still working on Stephen King's Christine. It's been like 4 years now. I'm halfway through the book. It's rather sad that Newgrounds and Opie and Anthony treated Popeye better than the modern movie industry. Well, they still have a heart, I would say. Like, considering what Disney is doing now, right now, as we speak. And I'm not going to talk about it, because I did a little bit earlier, and I started feeling pretty pissy. And we're trying to have a good time right now. I'm still not gonna talk about it. But like everything now is about trying to hoard money. I just want money to live. But the companies, they're more and more cheating us out of stuff. Like jobs. And saying, oh, but you will be so entertained. Like, if I gotta watch slop, I would like my slop to be made by humans. You know, that's why I was on Newgrounds. Someone asks you to make a wedding to Mario characters, say I don't care, I thought about, but whatever. Oh, you're still on that? I once had a request because at the time I still had the time to offer, because I put a lot of Easter eggs in the Mario comics and I used to have people guess the Easter eggs, and the fastest one would get a free request. And somebody asked that I draw Bowser and Mario getting married, but both in the Mario Odyssey wedding gown. I was like, sure. I don't care. Because they were not an ass about it. They were just like, can you draw this? And that's it. They didn't start telling me the story of how they decided to ship these two together. Just, can you draw this? Yeah. Here you go. Thank you. But me, it's when AI Bro starts. You're trying to gatekeep creativity! How? First of all, you're the ones that started lifting art from us. So you can do your little illegal collage thing. With shit tier anatomy, worse than mine even, and that's bad. But now you act like people were taking pencils out of your hand every time you try to draw, and these people were other artists. Because clearly you never spoken to an artist in your life. If you think that's what we do. It pays to be polite. And not creepy. But it is so hard for male-presenting people on the internet to not be creepy to female-presenting people on the internet. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, if only you saw my DMs. But I wouldn't wish that on anybody, so... Bowser is literally funny. Yeah, because I combed his hair back and everything. Put the little tiara on. I once had... I'm not sure if I made a bootleg cookie out of that. I think I did, but I'm not sure. I once had a guy, out of freaking nowhere, might I add. I have no idea who this guy is. I just know he put shame to the name of our Lord and Savior Gomez Adams, because that's who he used. The Sean, not the Sean, well, the Austin one. Sean Austin is his son. Because he wrote 15 copies of the same message saying that the only legit thing about me is that I'm the R word 15 times, that's it. And then he am I gonna say it? Maybe I am R. He shut down his account. He deactivated his account. And I'm just sitting here, I don't know if my feelings are supposed to be hurt. I am way too confused. And that was after I was done laughing, because... what is happening? You know? Who is this person? And there's a lot of that. John, thank you! And there's a lot of that happening. Like men, because it's always men. It's always men. 100% of the time. I've never... well, I've had one girl, but I suspect that she was actually a sock puppet for this one guy. But... it's like, I would say 99.9% of the time, it's always a man. And they're always, like, ridiculously mad at me for the stupidest shit. And I'm just sitting here like, dude, it's just a drawing. Like, you guys know about the time that I didn't want to answer this one guy's question. And he got so mad, he decided to kill me. And he decided to raise an army to kill me. And Trudeau's thinking, don't give them attention. I'm like I blocked these people. What else? What else can I do? They're the ones that escalate. And like, even at my age, I still get threats to my life. So yeah, I'm desensitized. Like, men get mad at me because I don't do what they want. And I'm just here like, eh, pencil goes brrr. That guy needed to be shipped to an insane asylum. Yes, and sooner than later. Like, you know when there's certain times where you condone finding somebody's IP? That would be one of those times. Because, sir, you are a danger not just to me, but also to yourself. Seek professional help. And I have to say, sir, because a lot of the times where I think it's just a kid losing their shit, it's actually a young adult losing their shit. And they're always autistic, and they give autistic people a really bad name. Like, I know I'm ADHD. I suspect I might be autistic too. But dude, when you start feeling like that, pull away from the computer and go drink a nice chamomile. You'll thank me. It scrolled up too fast because of all my ads. Sometimes something tells me that he's the kind of guy who blames their autism for their bad behavior. It's an explanation, but it's not an excuse. Like, I'm one of the first to admit that I'm really easy to piss off. I don't sound like it right now as I explain what's going on, but I am, like, stupid easy to piss off. But I realize that I am too easy to piss off. And I'm in my 40s. So you know damn well that in my 20s, I did not realize it. But at the same time, dude, you're threatening somebody over who would win in a fight, Bowser or Eggman, and you're mad because I didn't want to answer. Reevaluate your priorities. I'm gonna do a gradient here instead of my usual washi. I'm the same way, especially when I'm in a loud, crowded place. Well, yeah, you're overstimulated. And I understand that. And with that, it is 3 o'clock. Let's take one last look, see if the comic is okay, and then we'll be done for today. And I'm going to have a tea, because oh my god, my throat! You guys kept me busy, and I thank you for it. I will live with a little sore throat, as long as I got to entertain you guys. I'm just, no, load. There we go. Thanks for a great show, Shiro. Your comic looks awesome as usual. It was nice listening to you chat with your fans. Thank you, Paul. And thank you for the game, because I know it was you. Water, because it's important to stay hydrated. Because if I don't stay hydrated and if I don't drink this entire thing in one day, I get back pain. Welcome to your 40s! Woohoo! And the comic is looking pretty good. I'm just, yeah, it's safe. Clever use of gradients for backgrounds. Thank you. I used to do this for a couple of years. I just like using the washi because it's different. But sometimes I just need something simple because I'm not trying to show mood with the background this time. It's literally just a hospital wall. And yeah, this was on purpose, not necessarily to emphasize Mom's name, but on the paperwork, literally, my mom's name was written in, what's the name of that in English? Uppercase, there we go. Was written all in uppercase, and my biological father's name was all in lowercase. So, literally, that's what I did. And I'm wondering how his name ended up on that document because nobody used it in 43 years of my life. What I'm guessing happened is that the hospital probably, as they were transferring information between computer settings, might as well say it like that, they took a look at my birth certificate, and the asshole is on my birth certificate, so they probably added it when they did the change. Yeah, I had a good time. Thank you, I'm glad you had a good time. And that's probably what happened. Well, ease off the documents again! Please donate so I can afford to get a new birth certificate done and get his fucking name off my fucking paperwork. Thank you. Alright, bookend time, where I read super fast and struggle. Oh great, now it's too long. Gotta wait for it to loop over, give me a second. Extra special caramel drizzle, rainbow sprinkle, chocolate thanks to our supporters. Amber B, Paul K, Missanovis, Bad at Multiplayers, Matthew H, Blah 6, Laura S, Artsy Tanuk, Jeff B, and the part-time supporters, Super Dude at 808, and Rocket Mouse. Your continued or part-time support is appreciated. Next live stream is going to be next Sunday. The exact date. Yes, November 30th. At 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's my time, not your time. Maybe your time, I don't know you, I don't know your life. Of course, if you want to keep track of the schedule, it is in my newsletter. You can subscribe through my Linktree or through the pin posts on most of my socials. Plus, of course, advertise when it comes on. Like, you can't miss it. If you miss it, it's because you're busy. And I hope you guys had fun watching me draw. It's a lot of fun drawing it. I'll see you guys next week. I love you all, and bye-bye.